So we want to share with you a little tip to help avoid money fights, basically, in your marriage. And if you're not familiar with us, I'm Diana. This is my husband, Kyle. I'm a certified professional life coach. I love helping women live intentionally, and Kyle actually has a background in finance and kind of works in that area. And so we're just, in general, really passionate about our own stewardship, but also sharing ideas with other people to help them be intentional with their finances. And in general, the way that we approach our finances follows pretty closely Dave Ramsey, right? And his principles. So we paid off all of our debt except for our house many years ago. And if you guys are interested in hearing that story, let us know and maybe we can share that. But just so you kind of have some background on us. So our tip for you to avoid money fights is very simple. It is an allowance system. So do you want to tell people how that works, what that means?
Yeah, we basically just give each other a chunk of money. It could be $5,000 a month. Just kidding. It could be $50 a month. Could be $100 a month. $200 a month. Whatever kind of fits. Could be $300. I mean, whatever fits in your budget.
For us, it's always been somewhere from $50 to $100 each
Yeah,
person
kind
gets
of
per month. And that's like set aside on our budget because we're creating a budget every month. So in the budget each month, each of us gets anywhere from $50 to $100 for our allowance.
So we budget out a specific amount of money each month so that we have that chunk of money that each of us can do with whatever we want. No questions asked, basically. Then obviously for bigger items that are more pertaining to the family or whatever it might be, you're going to want to check with your spouse. That's an important thing in finances when you are married, is that you're having those decisions together, and a spouse shouldn't come home with a $2,000 TV without talking to the other person about it. But when it comes to the smaller things that fits inside your allowance, let's say it's $100 a month, then you're not having those discussions of whether it's hobby items or other types of clothing items that might be excessive, or whatever, shoes if that's your thing, and the other spouse then is wondering, why are you buying so many shoes? Like, you don't have to worry about that. That's part of your allowance and no questions.
Yeah, I used to, before we started doing the allowance, which was pretty early in our marriage, but I would definitely I would feel uncomfortable when I spent money on something for myself, for one, because I was worried that you would be like, oh, here she goes, another pillow or something, or shoes or whatever. And then I would also be really scrutinizing of your purchases. Because most of my allowance money goes toward either getting my toenails painted or clothes, and most of yours goes towards your hobbies, your outdoor stuff, and some clothes. So.
And lots of sofa pillows. Just kidding.
So funny. So I think it's helpful, we have other friends do, do an allowance kind of thing too. You don't want to get super weird and legalistic and all about rules in a marriage. You want to be flexible and generous and stuff. But I do think it's helpful to kind of have some parameters of this is what counts and this is what doesn't. For our best friends, if one of them goes out to eat without the other person, if they go out to eat with a friend, they have to take that out of their allowance, and we don't do it that way. Right. So just kind of know, or when you drive all the way up north for deer hunting, you pay for gas out of our gas budget, and that's fine. But you'll pay for your ammo and your license and stuff from your allowance.
Right.
So what do we do then? Are there any ways that we can end up with extra money in our allowance fund aside from the budgeted amount we get each month?
Not that much for me unless I sell my things. I guess that's the same of what you do.
Right,
you
selling things, or if people give us individually birthday money or Christmas money.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll put those in our allowance amounts. But yeah, I mean, that's another thing with kind of having more of a minimalistic approach. I mean, if you look at kind of some of the stuff I have, you wouldn't think I'm a minimalist, but at the same time, if you look at other outdoorsmen, you'd think, wow, yeah, he has definitely pared down his items. But having that approach, you can review items, sell things off. I mean, I've sold all sorts of things and then put that money into a new gun or a new boat or something different, or I should say a used boat. But that mentality actually has the ability to kind of help you with your budget and your allowances that you have.
Yeah, and then I'm not worried if you come home with another hunting thing that I don't even know what it is. Like, I'm just like, well, whatever, it must fit in his budget. I'm not worried about it, you know? And same thing, like, you're not worried when I come home with clothes or something, so.
Yeah, and again, it's not a legalistic system. Some months I go over, or some months you might go over, although I go over more, and then I have to make up for it.
Yeah.
So like, I know if I spend, $100 over my budget, allowable budget that month, I just know, okay, next month I have to basically spend nothing on my hobbies or nothing on the, clothes or whatever I might need. So again, it's not meant to be, don't think of it as like a legalistic type thing. I mean, you can follow it that way if you want, but it's really meant to really help you hone in and then not have to worry, and then you feel much better about what the other person is buying. And if they're buying a bunch of superfluous sofa cushions that aren't on the normal home maintenance budget, then that's fine. You just know that's all good to go.
You love using that example, but I literally barely
haven't
ever
bought them
buy
for a long time.
pillows.
There was a period of time when I feel like every other week there were new pillows on the sofa, and that threw me a little bit.
And you've probably heard before, money is one of those things you hear all the time that, like, that's the number one cause of fights in marriage. And I think, not that we're 100% on the same page with money, but it's so fun and rewarding to kind of find ways to approach finances with your spouse that overall work for both of you. And then you can take something that Satan uses to tear most people apart, and it can actually bring you closer together, which money has definitely done. I feel like it's made us way more united and prayerful and intentional, and just removes some of that resentment. And like you said, I wanted to mention, just in case people are wondering, like, if we spend less than our allotted amount for the month, then that carries over. Or if we go over, then okay, you're kind of running a deficit, and we both just trust each other, like, we're not going to run up a $2,000 deficit or something,
Right.
So all in all, an allowance system has helped us reduce resentment in our marriage. It's helped us get out of debt faster and achieve financial goals, and also just practice contentment, which is always a good thing. Putting restrictions around your money and your spending, and being grateful for the amount that you do have to spend instead of wishing you could spend so much more. If you enjoyed this video, I hope you subscribe and hang out with me, sponsor us again, and check below. I will link to some resources that might be helpful for you related to money, finances, money as a Christian, all that good stuff. See you soon.